Hello and welcome to Guitarist Magazine. We can be found on the web at www.guitarist.com. My name is Jason J. Rock Houston. I'd like to welcome to the show once again Bret Michaels guitarist Pete Evick. How are you doing today, Pete?
I'm wonderful, buddy. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How was your holiday season?
It was great. It was quiet. You know, in a world where everything's loud and fast in the rock and roll business, it's nice to have a couple days that are just quiet and peaceful.
Yeah, and on that note, I know that right before Christmas that you went on this acoustic tour with Faster Pussycat drummer Chad Stewart. Talk a little bit about the tour and how the idea to do that came about.
So me and Chad had both known each other for over 20 years. He was playing with Gilby Clarke.
Oh, yeah.
When I first met him, and we have incredibly same stories in our journey through music and the stuff we like, and we just get along great. But we never really have had the opportunity to do anything together. And both Faster Pussycat and Bret Michaels had taken December off, which was really, really rare.
Both
bands, and so we just got to talking and thought it'd be cool to go out and hit the road and kind of do a storytelling acoustic set about songs that meant a lot to us growing up and how we got to who we became. And so we took it on the road and had some fun with it.
And who else was in the band with you guys? Was it just the two of you?
Well, really, that particular, in December, it was just me and Chad.
Oh, wow.
Just an acoustic show. Originally, the idea started with Eric Brittingham from Cinderella.
Yeah.
But a few things happened in December, and he wasn't able to go out and do those shows. But moving forward, we hope that he joins us.
Now, let me ask you, because that is really, that when you think of an acoustic show, part of the reason you do that, it's really stripped down, like you said. It's a lot different than doing a typical electrical show. So that it really sounds intimate, too. The fact that you just got, a guy singing and playing guitar and the drummer, that's really intimate. So how different was that for you?
So I play acoustic shows locally a lot, and Chad doesn't actually play a drum set. He plays what's called a cajon.
Okay.
It's a percussion.
Yeah.
A percussion instrument that is super cool. Makes all kinds of great sounds. But I like that intimate thing. We sit down and we tell stories with the audience, and we play for 3 hours, and we just kind of let everyone participate. It's very much different than the Bret Michaels show or the Faster Pussycat show. It's free form. There's not a lot of what would I say?
It's not like rehearsed. It's not really rehearsed. It's more kind of on the spot.
Yeah, it's not very rehearsed. We just kind of go with it and let the crowd dictate which direction it's going to go. And everywhere we went said they can't wait to have us back. So it was a good time, and it felt great.
And on that front, do you have a set list of set list songs to pick from, or would you say every kind of city you did had a different set list?
We had a core set list that we started with because the story is a timeline. So it's not as freeform as I might have made it sound.
Yeah.
We start in 1978, and we do one song for every year until we get to 1984, and then we get stuck with 8 songs from 1984 because it was such a giant year. But the original idea was a timeline of songs that all of us from our genre and our age group all grew up with, and basically it's basically it's telling a story that shows that all of us are together in our history. Whether we're the fan or the musician, at this point we're all together. We all shared the same exact story, even if we lived on different coasts. We all kind of grew up through the MTV generation. We all grew up, watching the same videos and influenced by the same things. And so that's what it is. It's basically a 3-hour journey down the 80s where we all, every story I tell or Chad tells, you can tell the same story because we all live that same thing.
Yeah, and you know what I love about that is, even talking about my own personal life, I love the fact that I can't tell you how many times I've seen throughout my own life where music is a great thing as far as allowing people to kind of go back and share memories. Music's a great way of bringing people together, and I love the fact that you have that kind of storyline, because like you just said, for example, the 1980s, MTV was still around, and just if you stop and think back to the early 80s when MTV was just first launched, and how revolutionary that was, and the fact that we don't even have it today in 2023, it's now a thing of the past. To think that we lived through something like that,
Right. It's funny to hear you say when MTV was around.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I just think that maybe I grew out of it, but it's really gone. It's not there.
I mean, in a way, it's there, because I think technically it's still on the dial. It's still like a TV network, but right as MTV was ending, what initially happened was they had the hit with that reality show, Real World, and they just started doing nothing but reality TV and stopped playing all the music videos. It's like, where did the music go? But now I've come across it, I think, a few times, and it just got like regular sitcoms. You wouldn't even know it was MTV.
Yeah, right. I think they run that show Ridiculousness is their big hit that they have now, right?
Yeah. And it's just and it's amazing, because it was revolutionary for its time, and I remember, I think another big thing MTV had a problem with was how like a lot of things they tried to categorize it, like if you're into hard rock and metal, you'd have to tune in Saturday night, from 12 to 3 a.m. and then during the day they play Yo MTV Raps and all the mainstream stuff, and and that's when you do stuff like that, I think eventually it's going to die. But bands are still putting out great videos, but it's that's the great thing about YouTube. There's not really a need for MTV as much as I wish it was still here. The bands are able to still out, and you could, even being like Bret Michaels Band, you guys have shot some great videos over the years, and you don't really need MTV. You can post it on your Facebook page, you post it on your YouTube, and if the fans want to see it, they can still see it.
That's right, and see it easier, and that's the thing. Speaking of which, with Bret next week, next Wednesday, I believe it is, we're releasing our brand new single and our new video.
Now, I've seen that, and I'm looking forward to that, because like anybody, like a lot of people you talk to, Pete, I'm a huge Bret Michaels Poison fan myself, and talking a little bit about what we were just talking about, last time I interviewed you was for your cover of 99 Balloons or something like that, and even like if MTV was still around, they would never play your video on that, but fact that you're able to get the fan base you do, and enough people have seen that video, I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, it's funny, a lot of people my age look down on the MP3 generation and the downloading and streaming of music and the YouTube thing, but I don't, because of exactly what you said before. We may not be making the money we used to make on the actual songs, but the ability to expose ourselves to wider and bigger audiences under our own control is priceless, if you ask me.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't even remember back when MTV was a big thing. There's a whole thing, record companies and artists, they used to, I heard stories of people having to, the record companies would actually pay MTV to play their videos and stuff, and if you didn't have the money to do that, a lot of people didn't get their stuff played,
Yeah, no, that's exactly how it went back then. There's no question about it.
And let me ask you, in regards to the new single you guys are going to be putting out with Bret Michaels next week, are you guys, I know, do it the modern way, where you release kind of a new song every so often, but are you guys working towards a full length? Are there any plans for that, do you know?
You know what? We're really not.
Yeah.
Bret is a creative guy, and when it hits him, it hits him.
Yeah.
But he has TV, and he has TV, he has touring, he has all these different things that he does. So we never sit down with the idea of writing a whole record.
Yeah.
The idea is just when the song hits him, and that's where we're at these days.
Yeah.
And, you can write a song and release it all in a week. It used to not be like that.
And at the same time, doing it like that, as much as I miss the old days of, when we were growing up and you could still go to a record store and buy records and that, it's just not like that anymore. And it's amazing to think that you guys could maybe make a bigger splash putting out that new single next week and putting out a video for it. More people will check that out than if you maybe did put a full-length album out, no matter how good it was,
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and I was curious, another thing about Bret Michaels, I think was really revolutionary. Or, he really kind of recreated himself at the time. Was with that show, Rock of Love. Were you working with him back then?
Yep, I've been with Bret since before Rock of Love.
Oh wow, yeah, that's what you've been probably his right hand man ever since. And and I was curious. They just did that great stadium tour, and from what I understand, the Bret Michaels band, like you said, is getting ready to kick up, I guess, this summer. You guys put out a press release a while back that there's going to be a major tour with the Bret Michaels band this summer. Can you talk at all about that and when that's supposed to kick off?
Yeah, sure. No, it's really exciting. We're going out on what Bret calls the Party Girl Tour,
That's
which is
it.
something that he's thought about this for a long time in his life. It's basically what Bret wants to do is basically a 3.5 hour concert of nothing but hit music. He thinks that the fans want to hear the hits. That's what they pay their good money to come to see. And there's two different sides of the story. Some bands like to play obscure stuff and different stuff, and some fans like to hear that. But with the Party Girl, we have Jefferson's Starship is the opening band. And a lot of people hear Starship and think about
we built
the 70s. But the fact is, this version of Starship is going to be playing everything they play. You're going to know is a hit. We built this city, and Sarah, and Lay It on the Line, and Jane. All these songs, and you might not even realize that you know the song, but they're hit songs. And then Night Ranger's playing nothing but nonstop hits. And then when we come on, it's all the Poison hits, all the Bret Michaels solo music that were hits to TV shows and stuff like that. But then joining us on stage is Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Wow.
And they had 7 #1 songs, and he'll play those songs within our set. And then Steve Ajuri, former lead singer of Journey, is going to come out. We're going to do a bunch of Journey songs. So the entire thing is a nonstop celebration of hit music.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an '80s rock fan, I think you really love that, and I think anybody that's a Bret Michaels fan, I know if I come to a show, I would love to. I have no problem hearing the Poison stuff and the Bret Michaels solo stuff. To me, that if you're a Bret Michaels fan, you're getting kind of the best of both worlds. And from what I understand, even though Poison just came off that hugely successful stadium tour, I think Bret not too long ago doing an interview with Eddie Trunk where he's saying, Poison's going to take a few more years off. We're really not sure what's next for Poison, if there's going to be anything more. So that may have been the final thing for Poison. And yet, if I'm a Bret Michaels fan, I still want to hear those Poison songs I grew up on.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the Poison thing is Bret keeps that thing solid because he doesn't wear it out.
Yeah.
So it's not something that you can go see over and over and over again. So it keeps the fans excited when all 4 members hit the road together.
Yeah.
You know that it's not going to be every year, so you better go when you can.
Yeah, and Poison's one of a few bands I think that can get away with what they do. It's been a while since they put out any new music, but they've got such a great catalog of music. Like you said, you go to a show like that, at least that's my experience. And I remember, the first time I ever heard Talk Dirty to Me or, Fallen Angel and all that. And it's a great night of rock and roll. And, even the show you guys are doing now, like you said, having Starship and Night Ranger. I mean, it's almost reminds me when Van Halen got back to David Lee Roth and they had as their opening band Kool and the Gang. I mean, on paper it sounds kind of corny, but I mean, it was really cool, when they did that.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
Yeah, and now we were, at the top interview, we were also talking about this acoustic tour you just did. Now, I was curious, because you've seen the success of that, like, did you record any of the shows maybe for a future CD or DVD? Are there any thoughts to that?
No, we didn't, because we didn't know what it was going to be like.
Yeah.
We were learning how it was happening as we were doing it. But we may make some recordings when we go back out and do it. I know that I just on my YouTube channel, it's not with Chad. It's with my drummer in my band, Evick. We just did an acoustic version of "Boys of Summer" that's on my YouTube channel. That is very much in the vein of what me and Chad were doing.
Well, I gotta check that out now. Were you now? These are, I'm sure, a lot of these tunes meant something to you and Chad. You know, growing up, these are songs that really influenced you guys. So, how big of a surprise was it when you got that reaction from your fans? You know, each night when you do the show.
You know, I never take anything for granted, and every night, unfortunately, I get on stage and think that everything might go bad.
Yeah.
So when it doesn't go, so when it works, I'm just grateful and happy. I assume that the fans would get it because they're my friends and they're my peers, and we all grew up together listening to the same stuff. So if they didn't get it, I really did something terribly wrong.
That's the message right there. You know, I was thinking as I'm talking to you, it'd be even cool, like, I would dig it, like, if you even just a few songs or maybe like a EP or something, put out like a cover EP. Have you given any thought to that?
Well, I think I'm just going to do it on my I do want to record tons of these songs acoustic.
Oh, okay.
But I think it's just going to be YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
As far as licensing goes and selling it as recordings, where I can make videos.
I got you. That makes sense.
I professionally recorded, like, it's produced really well. If you listen to my version of Boys of Summer, I'm super proud of it.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Somehow I missed that.
I think that it'll just be YouTube stuff, but I'm certainly going to do something that I can celebrate it with, and people can find a way to watch it no matter where they're at.
Yeah, and you know, you're great at covering these other artist songs. Now, when you do that, how important is it for you to stay as true as you know, to the original version, or do you like to put your own spin on things?
I like to put my own spin.
Yeah.
You know, those songs are super important to me. So something about them is special. So I don't stray too far, but I certainly do it my way.
And like that's what I dug about your cover of 99 Balloons. I mean, to me, it wasn't the most obvious song maybe to cover, but that's part of what I dug about it. And then I dug the fact that you did put your own kind of spin on it. I thought, you know, because I think that's the whole point. If you're going to do that, you want to kind of add your little extra touch to it.
Well, yeah. So it's basically the same song, but I turned it into a rock song, but I didn't change the key or the arrangement much different. I just did it as if it was my band doing it.
Yeah. And I think you were just saying you had another project. I think your publicist was telling me you got something called, the name is escaping me, but do you have another project with your brother or something like that? Or somebody?
What is it?
There was something else I seen. I don't know if it's called the Evick Brothers, but you have another project with somebody, and it's called Evick something.
Are you talking about Gavin Evick, my son?
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's I couldn't figure that out. But yeah, okay, that's what that is.
Yeah, my son released his first single. I produced it.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not in the band or doing anything
with him
other than producing the music and supporting him. But he's 20 years old, and he released his first single. It's a very 80s influenced power ballad type of thing. Very Every Rose, very I Remember You, very Heaven from Warrant type of feel. And his band is playing with me Saturday. His first performance ever is this Saturday at the Salisbury Center in our hometown of Manassas, Virginia.
How cool is that? And then also I heard something that you got a spring release for something called Evick Bourbon. Can you talk all about what that is?
I have a meeting tomorrow with the people.
Okay.
I haven't named it yet, but you know, our band, my band, Evick. You know, we've always been kind of a party band and a classic bar band type of thing. And for years I was sponsored by Jägermeister. As I got older, I started to acquire a taste for Jack Daniels instead. And you know, I see a lot of people out there selling liquor that don't even drink these days, if you know what I'm saying. And I thought it's been, you know, it's kind of been a way of life for me. Not that I'm certainly not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But I like to do, I like to do some shots of Jack Daniels or this or that once in a while, and it's part of my culture and part of my band and part of who I am. So I approached a local distillery that makes some incredible bourbon, and we're going to see if we can partner together and make something happen.
I mean, it's cool to hear stuff like that, that you can do something like that because of your, career in music, as a musician. I mean, more and more people are getting, I know, obviously, Jimmy Buffett's been doing stuff like that for years. Sammy Hagar, I mean, with the whole club down in Mexico, and then he does all that stuff. And even Mark Scott, the drummer from Trickster, he's kind of launched his own brand of vodka. So that's a cool thing to kind of get into. Rock and roll guys are doing more and more of that.
It's just important that I don't fake it. I only do things that I mean are a part of my way of life.
Yeah. And how different is that from a music business? I mean, it's a whole different type of thing. I mean, where you got all this years of experience, knowing how to write a song, going in there and recording it, but like, how the how the liquor is distributed and all that. That's totally a different type of business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of that I'm going to get involved with.
Okay.
That's what the partnership with the distillery will be. We'll see. It'll be more about branding and promotions on my end.
Okay.
I don't know that I have it in my brain to
understand
the liquor laws in every state in the United States. I've spent a lot of time in the bar industry, and I am very aware of how crazy the liquor laws are just here in Virginia.
Yeah. So
I might put that on someone else.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, I even not too long ago got a chance to interview Gene Simmons of all people, because he's got this money bag soda. I mean, and that's the kind of a cool thing. Talk about branding. Yeah.
Right. Gene's how we learn it. All of us learn it from Gene, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's one of the guys been doing it the longest. Yeah. I mean, he's one of those guys gets an idea and he's like, well, I got to at least give it a try, see if we can make it happen. And I mean, to go from, and everything he's done in his life has been because of, he's been able to do because of his success with Kiss, obviously.
Right.
And, I was curious, talk about Poison Stadium Tour. Did you ever get a chance to go catch that live? And what's that like if you did? I was kind of curious, being in the audience as opposed to up on stage with Bret. You get to see him perform all those Poison songs that you typically perform with him with the band that first made it famous.
I went to one date on the stadium tour, and I watched it from the side of the stage. But in years past, I have driven to different shows, and I enjoy not telling him I'm coming, and I go and I buy a ticket and I sit on the lawn and I watch like a fan, and then I leave and I text him good show, and he gets a kick out of that. But I was a Poison fan. I still am a Poison fan. So I enjoy watching the show, and I didn't watch the stadium show from the front, but I did. I do go to Poison shows and not even tell them I'm there and just watch as a fan. And do any of the hardcore Bret Michaels fans, when you're at those shows, did anyone ever notice you, or you're able to kind of, No, very much. That's part of the reason I sit on the lawn is I kind of sit up in the back and kind of try to be a little out of the mix. But without a doubt, it's been 20 years, so without a doubt, I run into people that know me from being in his band.
How cool is that? Well, and Pete, next time I interview you, because I think last time you shared with me that you're a bit of a Kiss fan yourself, so I think you're telling me, correct me if I'm wrong, that Kiss Alive is one of your all-time favorite albums? Alive 2. Okay, well, again, just think about this down the line. Maybe because we have an interview series we do called On the Record, where we talk specifically about, you give me in this case like Kiss Alive 2. You say that's the album I want to talk about, and we'll talk about the songs of the album and what you remember from that time in your life and how it influenced you. So I think that'll be fun.
That's the kind of of stuff I'm all about. I would love the opportunity to do that.
Okay, well, you're now. This is the second time we've interviewed. We consider you family. So anytime you have anything to promote, feel free to reach out to me, and we're here for you.
So kind of you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, Pete, and we appreciate you taking time to talk to us today.
Anytime.
Okay, bye-bye.
Chaotic Riffs Magazine.